at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., covering the Dream Defenders. Here's a little footage. Stay tuned.
So if you want to be passive and you want to sit on the sideline, this ain't your fight. It's interesting because we're celebrating the anniversary of the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, so there's a lot of history that we're celebrating, right? There's a lot of young folks that were young folks at one time that stood up, fought, sat at lunch counters, marched in the South, got killed in the South for the rights that we take advantage of today. But the thing that I'm proud about is I get to come to a room. It's Friday night with a bunch of young folks that could be somewhere else doing a lot of other things, right? They choose to be in this little dark room with a bunch of folks talking about marching. And they always say, you always hear these stories, these interesting stories about, oh, young people, they're not about anything. Last time I checked, the Dream Defenders were sitting in before there was a 50th anniversary march.
But I'm going to end with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. What's the rest?
Only light.
Only light can do that. You be that light. Thank you.
What is so urgently on my heart. Our son, Jordan Davis, 17-year-old, was murdered in Jacksonville, Florida this past November. He was murdered because Michael Dunn, who was sitting in the car next to them at a gas station, had perceived that their music was thug music, too loud, and he didn't care for it. And because the boys did not do what he wanted them to do when turn their music down or turn it off, he proceeded to pull his gun out of his glove compartment in his car and shoot 10 rounds into the car. 3 of those rounds were a direct hit to our son Jordan, and Jordan was murdered there on the spot. We have decided as a family that what has happened to Jordan will continue to happen if we do not change the laws by which individuals are able to gun down.
And I tell you what, when I was your age, I was busy partying and doing all these other things. I wasn't political, and I just really thank you guys from the bottom of my heart what you're doing for Stand Your Ground. Keep it up. Keep up.
There's a reason why it was a march and not a stand. The reason why it was a march and not a stand is because you cannot stand still and expect justice to happen to you. It doesn't work that way. You take justice.
His favorite verse, it comes out of Hebrews, and I can't tell you the chapter, the verse, but that's cool, we'll go with it. The Bible defines faith as the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. And so while I have nightmares, I have faith that things will get better. I have faith that our votes will change the world. I have faith that parents. Use our votes to tell the world that we are people and what we demand for. I have faith that my fellow young people and we will not stand idly by and allow our ability to come to be hindered by political and legal obstacles. The Bible tells us that I think that I work today, and so I will exercise my faith by not standing idly by. The electricity, that's not by accident. So what are we here to talk about today as young people? We're talking about a generation that is looking at no future.
Look, I say I'm young, black, and gifted. See this right here is for the inner cities and the slums of America, because it seems that we're still judged from the color of our skin and not the content of our character.
Going to the March on Washington because we don't have next, we have now. I'm not waiting on next, we are the now.
But I'm glad today that justice, that car justice, is in the shop. And we got mechanics. We got mechanics working, mechanics like the Dream Defenders.
Today, it's the responsibility of the youth to take back our world. The world is ours. Just because somebody else is claiming it, it don't mean it's theirs. You see, I have this philosophy that no one is going to pass our generation the torch. It's time for us to do what the Dream Defenders are doing and light our own torch and carry it to the destination that we all deserve to be at. That destination is the intersection of righteousness and freedom.